thank you for coming out by the thousands to send a signal to the millionaire mayor who's fashioned himself as Toronto's new czar, who tries to dictate policies without taking it into the council chambers for democratic debate.
This is what Toronto looks like. We are here today because we care about the future of our city. We are here today because we want to say no to the privatization agenda. And we are here because we have seen enough and we are not happy with what is happening at City Hall.
Now, this is not a rally against an individual politician. This is a rally that talks about the kind of city we want to have together, the kind of city we want to invest in together, the kind of city we want to build together.
When do we want social housing? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Social housing. When do we want it? Now!
Social housing was never meant to be a place to just live, but about supports and access. Being accessible to immigrants, refugees, people with disabilities, and the elderly. The social aspect of housing was always focused on building community and healthy neighborhoods. There is a war on the poor. For centuries, civilizations have been built on our backs, and as soon as our labor was used up, we were hidden, made to be invisible. We will not be invisible anymore. Tenants should be seen and heard.
It is disappointing to TCHC tenants that so little attention has been paid to the deplorable conditions experienced by many living in Toronto housing. I am also concerned about what will happen if a serious effort is made to privatize public housing. If landlords are guaranteed rent through Ontario Works and ODSP, there will be no incentive for private landlords to properly maintain the already aging public housing stock. Privatization is not the answer. Public and accountable TCHC administration and proper allocation of funds is the answer.
One word. Working people are not a problem. The problem are those who own these buildings.
Workers earning a modest wage and a modest income are being branded somehow as part of the gravy train. I can tell you, my friends, in the Toronto Housing Corporation, when those Belgian chocolates were being handed out, when the weekend spas were being dished out, I can tell you it wasn't the plumber that was going out for the spa on the weekend. It wasn't the caretakers that were eating the Belgian chocolates. It wasn't the electricians that were feeding at the trough. Oh no, it was the private sector bureaucrats that were hired by City Hall are the ones that were feeding at the trough. We expect respect for our workers in this city. We expect respect for the TTC workers who are being pilloried in the media, people taking photographs of their cell phones. Does anybody remember Rob Ford sitting at City Council fast asleep? Fast asleep! Yes, he was! Stand together with the community. Stand with the social activists, the community activists, the housing activists. Stand with OPSU and CUPE and steelworkers and teachers. That's who we are, my friends. We make up the majority in this city. Let's send that signal loud and clear.
We are not for sale. We are not for sale.
We are not for sale.
Formally elected by tenants in October 2007 as a board member on Toronto Community Housing, but my term was cut short on Thursday, March the 9th, when I was forced and then removed from the board at the request of the mayor. Shame indeed, shame. must have a voice in decisions about their homes and to make sure we have healthy, safe, and connected communities. We must have elected tenant representation on that Toronto Community Housing Board to make sure our homes don't get sold. Tenants should be seen and heard. Tenants should be seen and heard. Tenants should be seen and heard. That's right.
The gloves are off capitalism. Either this city hall is going to listen to us and be accountable to the real people, or we'll have no choice. Respect Toronto, respect our city, respect our people, respect our future.
I love working for the city. We do a lot of good work here. My job is to pick up the recycling, the garbage, and the organics in your neighborhood. I am proud to do this work for you, because I work for you.
It is not a pleasure to watch what this Ford administration is doing to our city. We are all here today in opposition of an agenda, a right-wing agenda, an administration that is determined to dismantle everything that had made our city one of the best places in the entire world to live. I stand in opposition with you to a city that cuts social services for the most vulnerable at a time when they are needed most. I stand in opposition with you to an administration that closes libraries and cuts programs at community centers, programs that keeps our kids off the streets and gives them hope to a better future. I stand in opposition with you to an administration that wants to reduce taxes in Rosedale while imposing user fees on residents of Jane and Finch, Cabbagetown, and Scarborough.
That is not what I call democracy. This is what democracy looks like. That is what hypocrisy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. That is what hypocrisy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Students rely upon public transit to get to school. We rely upon public transit to get to the 2 to 3 part-time jobs we must work to pay our tuition fees. We rely upon public transit to meet our family commitments and to get home. We are commuter students who come from every corner of this city, from the east to the west, across the GTA. Last year there was a plan. There was a plan to build fast, reliable public transit, light rail transit, along Finch West to replace the busiest bus route in Toronto. That promise has been threatened by Mayor Ford. That is not. Shame indeed. Despite the public outcry, students, workers, and community members were ignored when cuts to 41 bus routes were passed. To that, I say shame. We are here for respect. So my sisters and brothers, put your flags proudly up in the air, put your fists in the air. We are going to take over these streets. Students and workers under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Students and workers under attack. What do we do? Students and workers under attack. What do we do? Students and workers under attack. What do we do? Students and workers under attack. What do we do?
As a symbolic act, dear Councillor, I am very concerned about the future of Toronto. I want it to be a city that serves all its residents and plays a meaningful role in building healthy, equitable communities.
Take the message back. Today